It really isn't. And again, Frank Warren, he's talking about how Dillian Whyte, in this particular contract that he signed, he has to do a reasonable amount of promotional work. Well, again, what's a reasonable amount of promotional work? What's reasonable? He says how Dillian hadn't put anything up on his social media. Okay, he has. He has reposted a couple of people who say that Dillian Whyte is going to knock out Tyson Fury and things like that. That's a reasonable amount of promotional work, isn't it? So to say Dillian Whyte has done nothing, it's not exactly true. So would, for example, of course he's talking about the press conference. Well, does it say that he must attend 2 press conferences? No, it doesn't, does it? But he will be turning up for the final press conference, we know that much. So what is a reasonable amount of promotional work? What does that mean? That, I don't know, if Dillian Whyte wants to do an interview with me or Behind the Gloves or whoever, is that a reasonable amount of promotional work? Well, it has to be, doesn't it? Because again, what Frank Warren's idea of reasonable promotional work may be different to somebody else's.
What's good, family? Shout out to my doggy Izzy Pop for boosting up your man the YB coin. Dire coin situation right now. So we just heard there from your man's Dillian the Shillian Shites, third polyamorous wifey. Yeah, sporting shite cons. Number 1 man fan, number 1 team shite man fan. Oh man, you know, Dillian Whyte has done the promotion. He has reposted a few messages. Listen, let me tell you now about what Shillian done. And like I said before, I've got no problem. I told you, man, before. I've got no problem. Yeah, this would make sense. If Dillian Whyte hadn't pushed all of them bum shows against bum fighters, yeah? I remember at the time, a few years ago, Dillian Whyte versus Ian Lewinson. Oh, it's West versus East. Oh, London Derby. That's what they was doing, Eddie Hearn. Oh, London Derby. Dillian Whyte was everywhere. Instagram Live. Instagram. 4 press conferences. Whyte versus Lewinson. Couldn't get rid of him. Home documentary of IFL. The works. For that bum fight. Yeah? About what is reasonable. And your man, you hear sporting shite cons. Now, I understand, to be fair. I do understand that when you're married to a man, when 2 men are married, I understand being loyal to your husband. I get that. So I'd never try and come in between someone's marital relationship. Of course you got to stick with your man. Yeah, that's your boo. Yeah, if that's your boo, that's your boo. What can I say? Yeah, that's your hubby, that's your hubby. I understand. But this just shows you that don't expect people who are married to tell the truth. Facts. Marriage basically means that you're going to lie for them. Now, I do respect that. I do respect sporting shite cons because he ride or die. That's what he's proven now. He's proven that no matter how stupid the things he's got to say to protect Shillian, his husband, he will do it. He number 1 ride or die. I hope I can find a wifey one day. Like sporting. I hope I can find a female wifey one day that can replicate, what would they call it? That can replicate the behavioural patterns of these cats. Yeah? If I can find a wifey thing half as loyal as sporting shite cons, damn. Your man YB will be up big. You best believe it. He reposted. Listen, your man sporting white cons talking about right there. Oh, what's reasonable? Dude, what's reasonable? What's reasonable? What was reasonable when you were selling the London Derby between Whyte and Lewinson? Or even Whyte and Chisora? I remember there were about 4 press conferences for Whyte versus Chisora. What was reasonable for that? Oops. And this is the problem, you see, with Pete, and this one makes me laugh about the whole reason number 1 Shillian Shite man fan hubby is coming out with this narrative of, oh, what's reasonable? That's what Dillian Whyte's D-level lawyer said. Now, any court in the land, or what the court's going to do is the court's going to look at what the precedent is. The court's going to look at, okay, Dillian, since you think you're so smart, what have you done in the past? What have your past behaviours shown that you've determined as reasonable? So like I said, if Dillian Whyte was doing nothing his whole career, and then he does nothing now, it'd be difficult to really argue it. But since he's been doing the most, couldn't get rid of the guy when he was pushing all of his fights with Eddie Hearn, now he's lost a purse bid, all of a sudden, he changing up. So it's so embarrassing that this guy talking about, oh well, and let me tell you now, all Dillian's done, or what you hear in sporting white cons, shite cons, referencing when he's saying, oh, he has done things, he's put out pictures on Instagram. No, he hasn't. Dillian Whyte has not put anything out himself about this fight. All he's done is repost people's Instagram stories. That's it. Dillian Whyte has reposted people's comments and whatever little things about, people have said basically, Dillian Whyte's going to knock out Tyson Fury on their stories, and Dillian Whyte has reposted it on his own story. That's it. About that seems, and like, think of the mental maths you have to do it, or the mental jumping around you have to do here, the stretch you have to take yourself to. That seems reasonable to me. That seems reasonable. Frank Warren is paying you $2 million more than Mr. Apples and Pears. Don't forget, people. Yeah? Dillian Whyte keeps saying, pay me more, pay you more. Wait a minute. Your man Eddie Hearn kept saying, don't worry. Eddie Hearn kept threatening, listen, if we don't get 45%, we're going to purse bids. Well, guess what? Eddie Hearn went to purse bids and he got slapped down. So Dillian Whyte, pay me what I'm due. Well, why is it then? Why is it, Dillian, that Eddie Hearn couldn't pay you what you're due? Why is it, Dillian, that Frank Warren is paying you $2 million more than Eddie? Categorically, if Eddie had won, Dillian Whyte would be $2 million down, and you bet your bottom dollar he'd have been at all the press events. It's baffling. That's why I don't understand it. Fair enough, yeah. If Frank Warren had got Dillian Whyte less, I'd be a little more understanding. But the fact that everywhere you look, Frank Warren done more than Eddie Hearn has. Oops. Facts. And still, and then the crazy thing is, Dillian Whyte man fans, even this one here, even White Cons, even Dillian Whyte's second wife, said things like, Frank's messed up here, yeah, Frank's done the numbers wrong, and yeah, Frank's going to lose money. Why do you care about that for? You should be worrying about your man being paid more. Why aren't you grateful? It's odd, and this shows you how deep the man fans are. The man fans are so bitter and so twisted. It's super odd behaviour. All I want to see is the best boxing fights and the best boxing entertainment. That's it. That's all I'm interested in. Couldn't care less about anything else. Of course, I'd like for things to be kind of just and whatnot, and that's why I'm so irritated with the situation here. Frank Warren's gone out of his way, and I'm not saying he's done it for some sort of altruistic kind of. I'm not saying Frank Warren's Gandhi, but for whatever reason, Frank Warren has backed this event. For whatever reason, he's backed it. He's put his money where his mouth is. He believes in this event. He believes in Dillian Whyte, $2 million more, 25% more than Eddie Hearn did. Oops. Big Eddie Hearn, big mouth Eddie Hearn, who knew it all. But yet, what does Frank Warren get in return? So Frank Warren pays you $2 million more, and you're doing the bare less than the minimum, less than you'd be doing with Hearn. Explain it. Dillian Whyte man fans, explain to me why we know Dillian Whyte would have been at all the press conferences for $2 million less. Why? Explain. I'm baffled. It don't make no sense. We've seen Dillian Whyte jump through hoops for Matchroom for 400 grand. Oops. Yeah? We've seen him do it. All the press conferences, everything. And now they trying to, what's reasonable? What's reasonable? Are you joking? And what gets me is it's like they actually think they've got an argument here. Dillian Whyte man fans, they actually think what they're saying makes sense. What's reasonable, bro? My definition of reasonable is different to yours. Well, listen, the courts, you might not going to find out. Because it's not as simple as that. You think the courts say, he just thinks different to you, so we'll leave it at that? Absolutely not. Dillian Whyte has made his own bed again, and any lawyer worth their salt would have already worked this out. Wait there a minute, Dillian. Your career's been based on pushing the hell out of bum fights. Yeah? So there's no way we can backtrack now in our biggest fight, our biggest payday, and all of a sudden act brand new like we don't know what a fair amount of promotion is. Because I'm not being funny, yeah? For the size of this fight was the biggest purse bid ever. So for the size of this fight, yeah, really, I don't think a world tour, or certainly a European tour, kind of like, I don't know, Ireland and Scotland, I don't know, you know, one of them ones. Certainly a mini world tour wouldn't be too far for this one. I don't think. I just don't. But Frank Warren ain't doing no world tour. He asked for two things. The fight press conference and one ticket sales conference. That's it. 2 conferences for your biggest payday. Dillian Whyte, his whole career has done 2 press conferences. We know that for a fact. The fight night one's guaranteed. As in, the one before fight night is guaranteed. That press conference everyone does. But every single time, how it normally works, to be fair, I'm pretty sure Dillian Whyte sometimes has free press conferences. Because you have the launch date, yeah? Or sometimes you have a press conference when the fight's announced, yeah? Then you have a press conference when the tickets go on sale. And then you have the fight night one. That's 3. Dillian Whyte, his whole career has been doing 3. 3 when it's announced. 3 a month later when the tickets come on sale. And another one on the fight week. Frank Warren only wanted 2. They didn't even bother doing one for the actual announcement of the fight. So again, everywhere you look, Frank Warren, for whatever reason, they ain't asking for much here. They really are asking for the bare bones minimum. Which is quite shocking. I would have been doing 3 off the rip. It really is a weird situation that you've got so-called boxing. But again, I'm not blaming White. I'm not blaming Sporting White Cons because he got a husband. Yeah, you must stay loyal to your hubby, 100%. And I respect, like I said, I wish one day I can find a woman who is loyal as Sporting White Cons. Yeah, I wish I can because he's loyal. He all the way loyal. He committed. He committed to Chile no matter what. He gonna ride for his man. Yeah, and it just goes to show that these bonds in the Bible, it talks about a strong bond being made between man and woman. Well, listen, Sporting Shitecons and Dillian Whyte have shown an even stronger bond can be made between man and man. That's what we've learnt from this. There's nothing stronger than 2 men, apparently. Their bond well strong. Yeah, truth-denyingly strong. That's how strong the bond is between Sporting White Cons and your man Chilean. Super strong. Yeah? It must be, from what I'm hearing, anyway, you know what, scrap that, listen. Bottom line is, yeah, stop shilling for your man's White. And tell him to turn up and start doing what he's supposed to be doing. About what's reasonable. Yeah? Stop pushing all your bum fights and no one trying. And this is what gets me the most here. What irks me the most here is the fact that this is the fight people actually want. This is the fight, yeah, where I'm actually intrigued. Of all the press conferences Dillian Whyte's been involved in over the years, which one is more important than this one? Tyson Fury, big talker. Dillian Whyte, big talker. And we only get one. What the fuck? Of all the crap ones we've seen Dillian do 5 press conferences for. Chisora, bored, don't want to see that. I'm tired of seeing Chisora put a goofy show on and then do nothing in the ring. And no one's trying to watch that. All the bum fights we see Dillian do 10 press conferences for. The one fight we actually want to see a press conference, Dillian Whyte, oh well, what do you call reasonable? Dillian Whyte hasn't even put out the pictures. Hasn't even put out the general Instagram post. About, I think it's reasonable that he's reposted a few fan stories. Get out of here. What's wrong with people, man? Yeah? Married wife sounding asses. Super goofy Team White, Team Shite man fans. And this tells you a lot about the generation we find ourselves in. Grown men will completely forgo their integrity just to cozy up to some next man they've never even met before. Do you understand? Sporting White Cons, he ain't really met Dillian like that. He don't even know the guy. Yeah? He only knows the guy through the internet. But so, scrap that. These dons, my man's got children of his own. How can a 50-year-old Donny be completely forgoing any integrity, anything that makes sense? Listen to yourself. Oh, yeah. Reposting a few Instagram stories is obviously enough promotion. What the fuck? Knowing knowing the amount of promotion Dillian Whyte's been done in the past. Dillian Whyte is the top 3 promoter in the UK as far as pushing bum shows for bum fights. About putting a few Instagram stories out. Listen to yourself, no integrity man fan. Big old hardback 50-year-old man fan sounding ass. No doubt.